just guys who were played college football last year and didn't make it any team, and they go and try out, and they get on that practice squad. They got like a practice squad of players. These players are in reserve for when someone gets hurt. Usually, they just pull them off the practice squad. They don't have a whole roster of folks on the practice squad. They only got a few people on the practice squad, but if someone gets hurt, they just go get another guy and put him on the bench, then move the guy who was on the bench onto the field. That's how it happens in football. But there's 53 men on the roster of a professional football team. In college, they got even more people on the team. They can have 80, 90 people on the team in college. In professional football, like I was saying, they usually have, they start out with 80-some people on the team, maybe 90 players, but they have 4 preseason games, and the coach starts cutting players who he doesn't think he needs. Like, they got to get the roster down to 53 before the first game of the season. But this season, they were not scheduled to have any preseason games, so I'm kind of wondering how in the hell are they going to get this roster down to 53 with no preseason games. You usually let the scrubs play in the preseason, and then you see who, how are these guys doing, who's making plays out there, who's consistent, who can't seem to get it done. And it should be a little bit easier for these players because you're not playing against all the best players in the league in the preseason. You're playing against scrubs. So there's every now and then they have one of their best players in the preseason, but they usually play all the best players like the second to the last preseason game, the third preseason game, and then the fourth one. They play some more scrubs because they want to see. I call them scrubs, but they're not scrubs. Actually, they're great athletes, but they're not, guys who are going to be starters. They're guys who are trying to barely make the team. So when you hear me referring to these guys as scrubs, they're not scrubs. They're fantastic ballers, but in comparison to the guys who are already on the team, and some of them are superstar players, these guys are scrubs. So anyway, in football, concerning this coronavirus, I'll be anxious to see how this works because I'd like to see them be able to play the football season, but I don't know if it's going to happen, man, because the way things is looking with baseball and them traveling around, it don't look like it's working that great so far. So keep my fingers crossed for the football season to be, to come off without a hitch. I'm not that confident in it, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, the NASCAR and the golf, that worked. That was fine. But NASCAR, they don't really have to social distance in NASCAR. They're already wearing a suit. They're in cars by themselves. The crew, you do have to worry about the crew. But, they're wearing face masks, and the drivers are already wearing gloves and a helmet in the car. So they're already social distancing in NASCAR anyway. Golf, you can social distance in golf because you're out there. You don't have to get close to anybody else. It's a lot of room for you to walk around. You can play golf without getting close to anybody else. In golf, they usually the players will be out there talking to their caddy, and every now and then make a comment to each other. But usually in golf, professional golf, those guys would be out there by themselves. I mean, the other players would be out there too, but they would not be anywhere close to each other. They would only be close to their caddy most of the time. So the golf was working. They didn't have a big adjustment to worry about there. NASCAR was working. Baseball's not working so well. They've already postponed several games after they started to come back. And basketball, we'll see. They're doing that right now as we speak. They're doing the basketball. So we'll see how that works. All right, we're gonna go to a break again. We'll be right back. Don't go away. After these messages, we'll be right back.
And now, without further ado, the man we've all been waiting for, T-Jam D. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. There's one other thing I wanted to mention in sports, and that is the coach for the Philadelphia Eagles tested positive for COVID, Mr. Doug Peterson. So football is ramping up. They're raring to go, but they've had a lot of players from the Cowboys and the Houston Texans. So Texas they screwed that up in Texas with their lack of respect for this virus, because a lot of Cowboy players, like I just mentioned, and Houston Texans tested positive, and hopefully they'll get that under control. They have some time before the season starts. I don't know if these guys will be in any shape, though. This virus has totally wreaked havoc on their conditioning, their training camp. Usually, they have the players come in late spring, early summer, and they start, with the conditioning and the training camps and the practices, and trying to get all the players that they've drafted in and try to see who can do what and all this stuff, and totally not been able to do everything like they want to in football. Even though, like I say, it's not time for the regular season to start. But usually they would have had a lot more work done getting ready for the season. And now the Philadelphia Eagles head coach is going to, have to quarantine. So I don't know. That's got to throw a monkey wrench in his plans right now, because he's got to vacate the premises and go home for 14 days. So too bad for Philly. I'm not a Philly fan. I'm a Cowboy fan, but the Cowboys have been affected. Two, they've had a lot of positive, coronavirus tests that were positive, but that was a couple months ago, so their players should be fine now. But it just goes to show, you never know. You got, if you got all these guys that are going to be in, and you can be giving guys at different times. Guys can have this virus at different times, and I don't know if you could get it again. I've never had any. I've never heard anybody say anything about whether after you get coronavirus and you get over it, if you can get it again. Usually you're immune. When it comes to the flu, you usually, if you have it, you get over it, you're immune to that strand. You can't get it anymore. But it may not work the same with coronavirus. So again, until they get a vaccine, we're going to be stuck in limbo. Corona on the bonus. On the bonus. Corona on the bona. Limbo. So we'll see how this is going. Not looking that good, folks, with the coronavirus. Like I said, back in February, I thought, we'll be past this by summer. And the president kept saying, oh, it's going to go away. That usually goes away. He said it was going to go away in April. It's August now. And not only has it not gone away, it's bigger. It's spread, 4.5 million people, and 154,000 people died from the coronavirus. And I know some people like to say, oh, I think the numbers are inflated. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if the numbers are inflated, to be honest with you, because I don't even think they started counting people dying from it at first, so they didn't know that it was here until February. And then the president said, oh, we got 15 cases and that'll be down to 0, and it goes away with the heat. Doctors say that'll go away. He's saying that was wrong about all of it. Maybe he doesn't like, he's got a problem with telling the truth. He don't want people to get all excited and worried about stuff, which to me, you need to tell the truth, man. Stop it with that nonsense. But we'll deal with it because we have to. We don't have no choice. But I want to talk here for a second just about something I just thought about. Not just now thought about earlier that I thought was silly, because I was looking at an old award show, and Best Actress came up as an award. It was an old show, and Best Actress, and I was thinking, why are female actors called actress? To me, it seems silly, because I understand that they're females, so but it's the same profession. I mean, we don't call female doctors a doctress. We don't call female lawyers a lawyette. You know what I'm saying? They're, if you're a physician, you're a physician, no matter if you're female or male. It's the same profession. Okay, it's the same career path that you've chosen as the male counterparts. We don't need to call it a different word. So, that's just something I was thinking about. Actress. The word actress. It seems silly to me. Just call females an actor. You can specify, it's a female if you're talking about a female, and you want, you need to let people know you're talking about a woman. But calling them an actress seems silly. Think about this. Well, what if you made an appointment with a doctor, and if it was a woman, a female doctor, you called her a doctress. Hey, I got to go see my doctress and get a checkup. Wouldn't that seem silly? To me, it would. Your doctress? Be like, what? What are you talking about, your doctress? Yeah, it's a woman doctor. So, call her doctress. Or if you had to see your attorney, you call her a lawyette. Like Smurfette, lawyette, instead of a lawyer. Actually, the word is an attorney. A lawyer actually is a slang term. They're not actually lawyers; they're attorneys. Most people don't know that, but we all accept lawyer because everybody uses it. So. But anyway, don't you call a woman who's a lawyer just as well, the same as a man, instead of calling them a lawyette or to me, the word actress, I just thought about that about actress because it seems so silly.